Hello and welcome to another episode of A Candid Conversation with Adam Lopez. I am your host, Adam. And of course, like always, I bring you special guests, individuals in every type of industry that come with excellent and valuable information. And today is not the exception. I want to welcome Todd Olivas to the program. Todd, welcome to Candid Conversations.
Adam, thanks so much for having me on, man. It's an honor. It's a privilege. I know I'm in great hands. You got an excellent way with all your guests, so I'm in good hands.
Thank you so much, Todd. I know that we were trying to, coordinate our schedules, and we finally made it happen. It's a new year, Todd, and why don't you share with us, number one? Well, let me inform our viewers and our listeners that Todd does serve as a president and CEO of his firm, his company, Todd Olivas Associates, also court reporting as well, out of Yorba Linda, California. But Todd, with this new year, tell us a little bit of what do you have in mind in the works, in the pipeline? What are your objectives and for this new year?
Oh, thanks for asking. We're super pumped about a couple things. One is, well, we about 2017, so 5 years now, we started offering conferences. So we do a TOA University. We renamed it to Work Comp University last year.
Yeah.
But that's kind of our big initiative where we give back to the industry, because we realize, there's a lot of great competitors out there. There's a lot of good court reporting agencies that people could use in comp. So along the way, we figured out, well, maybe a differentiating factor could be if we were able to offer CEUs and credits and MCLEs to our clients. So we started a series of conferences. Of course, during COVID, we had to pivot to a remote model, doing them on Zoom. But we were actually able to come out of COVID last year in October and do our 5th annual Work Comp University. And so we're going to be planning our next, live conferences series this year. We're also proud to be the education sponsor for the WCRC, which is the Work Comp Risk Conference held in Dana Point each year.
Yeah.
So we're the education component that helps them get that off the ground. So it's along those lines that I'm excited about. I'm excited about my own podcast too, but we can get into all that.
No, that's amazing. It's always it's always good to hear and listen to what others are doing and trying to accomplish. And I do remember the Dana Point conference. That's what I met. I met you guys and some of your employees like Rick and others, and we totally, created a good relationship. And it's good, that we have a services such as what you offer, especially court reporting. But that leads me to my next question. What are you seeing during this pandemic, since dating to 2020, all of 2021, and now even this year, who it appears with the new rise of cases, look like we're taking a step backwards instead of going forwards. But you as a court reporting, I guess, firm or system, are you seeing any difference, an increase in claims, more work, less work? Tell us a little bit about how the industry is doing.
I think that from my perspective, and you're right, we're on the deposition side of things. So, but what we've seen is that the volume has remained pretty steady. I mean, maybe in March of 2020, when it was all brand new, the California governor had shut us down, and it was the 2 weeks and all that stuff at home.
Yep.
It's turned into 2 years. But
yeah.
Once Zoom kind of got adopted by the industry, once the executive orders from Governor Newsom were put in place, allowing it to go forward, via remote means instead of having to have the court reporter in person, some of those, hurdles got lifted. And now, honestly, nobody wants to go back. The court reporters are loving doing it on Zoom. I think the clients are enjoying not having to sit in 2 hours of traffic.
Yeah.
The TPAs, carriers, and such, and the employers are enjoying not having to pay mileage. So it's kind of it's a very unique place that nobody could have predicted we'd be here. But ultimately, doing remote depositions is the new normal.
Well, and that's an interesting point, because obviously there's some companies and even people that I know that they say, you know what, I'm going to just have all my employees work from home now because they're more effective, it's more convenient, they're at the leisure of their own home. Why am I paying, for a lease for a big building? So some people are taking that approach, right? But there's others that really remote work, it's not as effective, especially dealing with the court system. But it seems that with you guys, with the positions and court reporting, it's actually being beneficial and more productive. But is there a component of what you guys do, Todd, that you can say, well, it's not as effective doing it remotely than in person? Is there something that just doesn't work?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think that doing depositions on Zoom works for all cases.
Correct. Got it. Yeah.
There are some applicants or some really tricky ones, and I'm not an attorney to tell you which ones those are.
Of course,
But
yeah, of course.
I've heard that there are certain files that really need to be done in person still, and so we still do in person depositions, but the ratio is probably 80-20. 80% of them remote, 10 or 20% are in person nowadays.
Yeah.
For that
Well,
reason.
yeah, and that makes sense. And of course, we will never share or divulge information that's confidential with current cases. But I can see your point where, and I understand that just there's some components of what you guys do, anything related to law and courts and the positions, that just it needs to be done in person. So it's crazy how we've had to navigate these uncharted waters that we're just trying to adapt. And what's crazy, Todd, is that every city, every county, every state just came up with their own rules because there was nothing to follow, any model, any past history or examples. And organizations and agencies, regulatory agencies, governors, they all came up with their own rules, which made it even more difficult for any of us to try to get our work done, right? And I'm not sure if you're just in California or multi-state, but those who are multi-state is like, oh my gosh, it's a whole different animal. So I know California in itself, has it been hard for you guys, Todd, to having to adapt to all these new regulations that are always changing?
Yeah, it has. And you're exactly right. Like one city to the next will have different rules,
Yeah.
different counties, and then of course statewide rules. But there are some silver linings to it too, which is that going into all this, there was already a shortage of court reporters. And there's a lot of reasons for the shortage, but in a nutshell, it's because court reporting, there's more people retiring each year than are getting out of court reporting school graduating. Because then the test is really difficult. You have to have a license by the state of California,
Yep.
200 words a minute. It's very difficult to pass. So the attrition rate is, people fall off left and right. Well, the silver lining part that I'm getting to is that because of Zoom depositions, remote depositions, as long as the licensee, as long as the court reporter is licensed for California, they can be sitting anywhere. And literally, we have court reporters living in other states who jump in through Zoom and do California depositions all day long. And so it's opened up a whole more larger pool of available reporters to handle depositions. And so it's helped on that supply crunch.
No, that's very interesting information, Todd. We're speaking with Todd Olivas. He's the president and CEO of Todd Olivas and Associates out of Loma Linda, California. Court reporting is pretty much, the industry or the area they focus on. But also, Todd, I saw on your LinkedIn profile there, you're on the board of directors of the Deposition Reporter Association. Tell us a little bit about your role and what is the association all about? What is the mission, the objectives, the values?
Oh, sure. I love it's DRA, it's Deposition Reporter Association. I'm actually off the board now. When I need to update that, I got off last year. But I've been on two different terms in 2010 and 11, and then I got on in 2020 and 21. But now I'm taking a break.
Okay.
But basically, that's an advocacy group for deposition reporters. We've got a lobbyist. We've got people in Sacramento to help sway laws and obviously fight for the industry. There's a lot of factors that kind of go against us sometimes, feels like. So anyway, it's just an advocacy group, an association. It's very important for independent reporters to link arms legislatively sometimes in order to get laws the way we need them to be to protect our industry. So that's
but that's awesome because it's also an opportunity to network with people and meet other court reporters and just really feed off of each other and brainstorm and network, which is awesome. So we're speaking with Todd Olivas, again, from Todd Olivas and Associates. The website to visit, Todd, for anybody who wants more information on the services you guys provide is www.toddolivas.com. That's TODD, olivas.com. It's going to be there on the bottom of your screen so you guys can have reference to it. And if somebody wants to email Todd, is very simple. It's Todd, TODD, again, toddolivas.com. Very simple. And the office number is area code 888, it's 888-566-0253. Again, it will be in the bottom of your screen so you guys can reference and get a hold of Todd or any of their employees so you can get more information on the services they offer. So Todd, let's shift a little bit into the future plans for your firm and what you guys do. Is there plans to expand to other states? Are there plans to expand into other products or services you guys offer?
We don't have, we are not going to be moving outside of California. California is its own ball of wax. We're happy and content just to stay here local. And
Yeah.
California is a very big state. So local means, I mean, it's a large, large piece to handle. And we just want to like serve our California clients the best we can and just focus on that. And so all our initiatives are on that and also on our education piece, like I mentioned with the conferences and such.
You know, you mentioned California, and I always say this: California is so big and it's always ever changing that it should be its own country, not even a state. It's
100%.
So many regulations in every aspect you can think of. It's insane. It's crazy. You know. So now let's talk about the conferences you guys have and the networking session you guys have. I attended one. I actually co-presented in the one in October. I think it was in Ontario, right? It was great. It was a Halloween theme. Then you guys were, I believe you were a scarecrow and everybody was dressed up, and it was really cool. You know, you have mimosas and you have some food and networking, and it was great. But I wanted to ask you, well, number one, thank you for putting that together. It's always great to have those type of resources and seminars and just learning opportunities. But I wanted to ask you, Todd, how important is it for other organizations and firms to start looking into these conferences and putting together small networking locally to continue to have learning opportunities for professionals?
I think it's crucial. I don't think that you can stay in your little lane and not to disparage anybody's lane at all, but
Correct,
to stay in where you started out in your career and just stay right there. You've got to constantly be improving yourself by learning and being open, and also improving your network by meeting people and leveraging relationships and figuring out how to give value. And that's really where our conferences are. What we're trying to do is give value, uncommon value, back to the industry, because those events don't make money. They make relationships. It's not about dollars. It's about developing friendships. It's about developing people. So and we found it like crucial. It's basically one of our main ways that we stay connected to the industry is through our own events. So I would encourage anybody to at least be attending those kinds of things, if not putting on your own, because there's no barrier to entry other than I mean, you can figure out how to rent a ballroom, you can figure out how to get so along the way we've improved it and we've gotten pretty good at it. I would like to say my team has, but no, it's I can't imagine being in this industry without having some sort of networking component built in, whether it's your own, which the way we've done it, or to just attending others. Yeah,
and which I think it's great, because not only do you get high quality presenters, but it's also really good valuable information through the courses and seminars. And then again, you also offer credits for some of these classes, which is great. So I want to commend you for the good job and well done what you guys do. And like you said, I encourage others to do as well, because I say we because a lot of us, I work for Cheesecake Factory and I oversee the environmental health and safety for 2 big plants in Calabasas and also North Carolina. But then I also deal with workers' comp, injuries, and I have to deal with litigations and QMEs and the nurses and the triage. So we deal with multiple components. So for us to go to these conferences and actually get to rub shoulders with other professionals who are experiencing the same challenges or have navigated through those waters, and they can give you great input and insight of how to handle certain things, that's valuable. You can't put a price tag into that. That's what you accomplish through these networks. Am I correct?
100%. What I learned too is that when I was on the board of the Deposition Report Association board, I was on that board with all my competitors. Like, they're all court reporting agencies. They're all competitors. You know what I mean? Yeah. But what I learned was that just because somebody is in the marketplace, your competitor, after hours, let's say, or on an extracurricular kind of basis, they can also be allies too, and so absolutely, these conferences, you may come and you may meet your competitor, but actually we're all in this together, and we want our industry to succeed, to grow, to find value in everybody, to find their place. And so you can't do that as a lone wolf. You have to go in there and be willing to partner up and make new friends and allies, even with your competition.
Man, that's a very good point. And that just shows, your character, Todd, and your personality in wanting to see others succeed and wanting to share knowledge. And I think that's always very telling of the transparency and integrity of somebody's, I guess their heart and their intention, which I think that's what makes you very remarkable, you and your firm and your employee, who I've said I met before. So, kudos for that, man. And I commend you again because doing that and taking that other step, and even if it's a competitor, you're right, they can become allies in the near future for whatever situation. So I think that's a really good perspective and approach, a good spin into why we do what we do outside of our normal realm of work, which is networking, which I'm sure you've seen all over LinkedIn, that I've partnered up also with Angel Garachagoya and Josh Diggs in creating now this risk conference and award that's taking place in May in Temecula. Because of that, we're also going to be part of a conference in Chicago and then Northern California, because in all due respect to these other big conferences that take place, that have done it for years, and do they have a huge following in attendance, like the Workers' Conference in Las Vegas, and the Dana Point one that's been for years, and the one happening, in Anaheim in June. These are great conferences, but then to also take it on the local level for 100 risk professionals to be more intimate one-on-one and learn from each other, that's great. And like I said, you can put a price tag into that. So that's what you guys did in Ontario. It wasn't, 1,000 people there. It was not, a handful of a few dozen. And with that, it was a remarkable synergy, networking. It was great, and I hope, and I encourage you to continue doing those throughout the year, and for those that are listening and going to see this later, it's like Todd said, it's a matter of just making sure that we provide another platform, another opportunity for professionals to come and listen and learn, educate, and share experiences. I think that's what it's all about, right, Tom?
100%. Yep, exactly. Our October one was sort of an experiment because we didn't know what the appetite would be for people getting back out post-COVID
That's
into
right.
the in-person realm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we kept it smaller. It was a half day only. We're used to large all-day events. In 2020, right before COVID, we booked out the Riverside Convention Center and we had 300 people in attendance, and so we knew we needed to run or walk before we run to, just be wise about how we rolled out. And so, but yeah, I think that event was on the smaller side, but went great. We're going to do more of those. And honestly, it's not even about millions of people in the room. It's all about, if you can come away with one connection that you didn't have before, or one little idea that you didn't think about on the way there, then that's a win, and you could take that back to your desk and I can improve somebody's life. I love that idea.
Absolutely. And I think that's a very gratifying and satisfying feeling, knowing that you planted the seed or that you were, that conduit that connects those two sides. And I think that's what you do through these networks. So again, we're speaking with Todd Olivas from Todd Olivas and Associates out of Yorba Linda, California. If you want to learn more about their services, court reporting, and what they do with the positions and the great team he has behind him, you can visit their website at www.toddolivas.com. It's going to be there on the bottom of the screen. And you want to email Todd directly, he answers his emails right away. I'm a proof of that. We connect each other. It's todd@toddolivas.com. And the number to call is 888-566-0253. It will all be in the bottom of your screen. I want to thank you, Todd, for sharing, your heart today, for sharing your ideas, for sharing your passion. I want to thank you guys for always being supporters of everything that I do. I've given some of your employees some of my mugs. I'm not sure if you have one of these very famous mugs yet, but I got to get you one. They got
some, but I didn't get one yet. So
the boss didn't get one, so you got to get you one, man. This is a famous mug that it's going all around in LinkedIn. People want it, but only special friends and people who get on my show. I'm kidding. Anybody can have one. But Todd, I got to get you one. I see that you're sporting your merch, Todd Olivas, the polo there. It's amazing. So for those our listeners and who's going to view this later, because it's going all over the social media platforms, just let's connect with each other. Like Todd Olivas said, it's nothing better than learning from each other and connecting as professionals. And Todd, I want to thank you for giving me the time to speak with you this today, and just hearing from you, from your mind. Are there any last words of encouragement or wisdom for the people who are going to watch this later?
Well, I don't know how encouraging or wise it would be, but I was really nervous going into this. And the reason is, it's because I'm shy, or I'm an introvert by nature. Yeah. But you made it super easy to come out of my shell and talk like we did. Also, I've got my own podcast, so I'm comfortable, much more comfortable being the one questioning rather than in the hot seat.
Yeah.
So, but I'm super pumped and grateful that this was my first coming out on somebody else's podcast. And Adam, I appreciate it very much, your time. And
man,
in this industry and the the leader that you are, the mentor, and I see you on LinkedIn just kicking butt, man, with all these awards and all this stuff, all these initiatives outside of your day job.
Yeah.
You know, on top of what you do for a Cheesecake Factory, doing all this other stuff that's just, I mean, really inspiring. So keep it up. I'm a fan, and I'm happy to be on your show.
Thank you, Todd. I actually feel privileged that you're the first one that comes on a podcast, and this is not only going to be available as audio, but also video. My videos are all recorded and being made available all over the place. So thank you, Todd. Again, we're speaking to Todd Olivas. Thank you so much for your time today. And you've been listening to and watching another episode of A Candid Conversation with Adam Lopez. I'm your host, Adam. I encourage you to continue supporting this podcast. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and look out for more amazing interviews and more amazing content coming your way. Until next time, and thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
This episode is sponsored in part by Daniel Goggins and Associates, the best in workers' compensation and defense attorneys. Serving clients in both Northern and Southern California, their corporate office is located at 2951 Saturn Street, Suite D, Brea, California, 92821. Daniel Goggins and Associates, where their philosophy is aggressive and smart with an eye toward the most successful yet cost-effective claim resolution. Daniel Goggins and Associates, offering services in workers' compensation defense, full service lien department, 132A defense, serious and willful defense, and subrogation. Visit their website at www.dpglaw.com or call their corporate office at area code 714-996-1976. Daniel Goggins and Associates, where attorneys will not only defend you, they will protect you. Thank you, Daniel Goggins and Associates, for your partnership and sponsorship. This episode is sponsored in part by County Schools Federal Credit Union. Established in 1960 with the motto, people helping people, County Schools Federal Credit Union continues to support Ventura County's educational community and their families while educating members and the community about financial awareness. With 2 branch locations, one in Oxnard, California, and the corporate offices in Ventura, California, County Schools Federal Credit Union strives to fulfill its vision of financial well-being for all and achieve its mission to improve people's lives and support ongoing education through fair financial products and services. Call County Schools Federal Credit Union today to learn more about all the great banking options and financial resources available to you. And visit their website at www.csfcu.org. County Schools Federal Credit Union. Thank you for your sponsorship and your partnership.